Hey, good morning, Misfits. What is it? It is September 16th, episode 573. I hope everybody's doing well. Today's Wealth Wednesday. Wealth Wednesday. Um, what are you doing to grow your wealth? What are you doing to share your wealth? And when we talk about wealth, my mentor would say, congratulations, you're right, I'm rich, let's move on. And those riches had very little to do with income. Although he was extraordinarily wealthy, he never meant it to be I'm rich and you're not. He said I control my mind at this moment, you don't. So what can you do today to share your wealth? What can you do to put it out there? We've seen many times on here already where somebody's talking about a charity that they wanted to do. They started a GoFund and all of a sudden they raised $200-300. We saw Amanda on here not long ago talk about the elder care facility that she's a part of, and she wanted to buy somebody a pillow and buy him a mattress topper, and she wanted to do that, and it took some money, and we said, well, great, send us an email, we'll send you some money. And I think we raised like $400 on that call. And then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, a week and a half later, there's 25 TVs that show up in the facility. And these rooms, these are COVID patients. They didn't have a TV. They were kind of in their own wing. But did the $400 buy all of the 25 TVs? You got to say, yeah. It didn't in the real world, but in the ethereal world, in the spiritual world, it's what got it started. It said there's a source here that needs to be filled. There's a source here that needs some attention. And all of a sudden that was taken care of. I keep looking back at the puppy. The puppy's in here. So what can you do to start to give away? What can you do to make room? One of the things that very early on, I was talking to somebody about organization. And it was, I was saying, I'd like a new wardrobe. And I said, I need to get everything organized, right? My dress shirts and my polo shirts and all of this stuff. And they said, well, you got too many things. You can't get a new wardrobe. I said, well, I can get a new wardrobe. I can afford a new wardrobe. They said, yeah, but it won't show up the right way because there's no space for it. And I don't know about you, but there wasn't a whole lot of space in my closet. Kind of everything was touching each other. They didn't have, 1 inch between each other. I've seen some people where they got, a half inch between each hanger. That wasn't my closet. That wasn't my closet at all. So I decided to give some stuff away. Now, there's a handful of things you wear on a regular basis. And there's a handful of things you'll never wear, but you're either waiting to try to get back into the size of that or you're trying to, whatever the story is, give it away. Give it away. Make room for it. Give a smile away. What usually happens when you give away a smile? You might get one back. What happens when you give away $1? See, that's the hard part, is that we think when we give away money, money is no different than a smile. It really isn't. It's an exchange of goods. It's an exchange of energy, right? How is it possible that I can travel the planet and have different currencies in my wallet? Different currencies in my wallet. And if I have the different currencies, I can buy things in different lands. Well, why do we say that laughter is universal? Why do we say that a smile is universal? Why do we say love is universal? Because it's a universal currency. It's a universal energy. See, when I hand somebody I don't even remember what currencies are now. If I hand somebody a peso, a Colombian peso is different than a Mexican peso. Right? But they recognize it when it says 20 million on it. They recognize it for the value it has. When you pass out a smile, do they recognize it for the value it has? Follow me on this? How much is your smile worth? How much do you make it worth? When somebody sends you a smile, how much is it worth to you? See, we talk about Wealth Wednesday, and yes, it's usually monetary in nature. Put a $5 bill in a diaper box. Pay for somebody's meal behind you. All of these different things, you can share the wealth and change the energy. You can donate $2. Listen, it doesn't have to be a $200,000 donation and your name on the side of a building. Donate $2. Donate $2 a week. There's a rescue farm sanctuary that I think it's $3 a month I donate to. I don't even know it's gone, right? That's like half a Starbucks. If I bought Starbucks, I'd know how much they cost. I don't know how much they cost. I just know it's a crazy number. So it doesn't have to be a lot. Make space, make room. When it's share your wealth, it can be share everything from a smile to a gratitude. How about your gratitude messages? How many of you sent those out today? How many of you intentionally sent those out today? I mean, even if it's a copy and paste, you took a breath, you took 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, and really thought about the person as you were sending it. How many of you have changed a message because you took a breath and you were going to send a message to somebody and you got this download that said, send this, and you changed what you sent to somebody? All right? All of this is the idea of sharing your wealth.
Fuck. We're supposed to
Got that taken care of. So, in order to make life a little bit better, sometimes we have to share it. We talk about it all the time. Planting seeds. What if smiles were seeds? Follow me on this. Y'all ready for this? If smiles were seeds, and it took 60 days for the smiles to grow into income, how many smiles did you plant 60 days ago? It might surprise you. It might make you go, oh, snap. How many smiles can you share today? What is it that you get paid for? You get paid in our profession, networking, MLM, mentors leading mentors. You get paid to put smiles on people's faces. You get paid to bring joy to families. That's literally what you get paid for. Yeah, they become customers of your business, but if they stay customers of your business, it's because they're getting some value, and the value that gets to be transferred to their family, to those around them, to themselves. Recognition, edification, that's all wealth building. Today, how much of your wealth can you give away, knowing full well that it's going to fill itself back in? It's like putting your finger in a glass of water. When you pull your finger out, does anybody's glass of water have a hole in it? No, it fills back in. The challenge is all too often the energy that we're operating out of is the give and take method. I'll give this, and boy, the universe better bring it back. It's when there's no strings attached. It's when there's no ability to say, well, I sure hope something comes back. You may hear a little husky howling in the back. The question then becomes, how can you give it away without being attached to it? At a subconscious level, not at a conscious level, at the subconscious level, what does it say? That's what we're talking about in the secret sauce. Is one of the things is the question is what is your understanding of money? What were you taught about money? See, there's not a whole lot of us that are taught about money other than by our parents. And even if we attend a class, even if we attend a studio on it, even if we attend a workshop on it, can anybody hear that? So maybe we'll just have the puppy teach today. What? You want to come up here and howl? Come here. Monster. He's getting so big. So even if we go to other classes, even if we attend universities on money, the question then becomes, why doesn't the new understanding stick in? Why doesn't the new understanding stay? Why is it that we have to be, we're stuck with the way we were taught how to learn money? I say that to say, when you realize the power you have, Rhonda said it one time, and I think maybe it comes out of the Bible, but money's a bad master, but it's an awesome slave. And I doubt they use the word awesome in the Bible, but you know what I mean. So money's a bad master. It's a horrible master. But it's an amazing slave. It'll do what you ask of it. It'll buy what you ask of it. It'll come to you as you demand it. Science of getting rich, Wallace D. Wattles, there is a science to getting rich. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made that permeates and penetrates and fills the inner spaces of the universe. It's you gaining domain over these thoughts. It's you staying, looking and drawing into the future, the wealth. Let me ask you this. Where are your millions? Follow me on this. You all ready for a little fall down in your seat kind of hard moment? Where are your millions? Are they in your past or are they in your future? If they're in your future, why are you hanging out in the past? Why are you spending all your time talking about your childhood and what you're doing and who didn't love you and all of this stuff? The only reason you tell your childhood stories, the only reason you tell your stories is so, A, you can get over it. You can get over it. And so that you can focus on the future and you can start driving your car looking out the dang windshield. You can stand at the frontier looking at the frontier going, oh my God, it's an abundance out there. It's an abundance out there. I mean, even if you're turning this way and the future is all out there, even this way you can at least see with one eye. You got a half vision, but when you turn this way and you go, there's billions out there. Billions. And you know why? There's places, the billions that are out there, people are looking for a place to go spend their currency. The currency they want to spend right now is community. They want to find a place to where they feel that they're connected. Right? People, there's no excuse anymore. 400 million people now understand Zoom, let alone any other webinar. They now understand this. The ability to connect, the ability to do a Zoom, the ability to say, hey, listen, let's Zoom. Nobody's going to go, what's Zoom? The majority aren't. Where is your wealth? Your wealth is in this moment. When will your wealth come to you? It can't come to you in the future. It has to come to you right now. It has to come to you in this moment. So the challenge is that the reason most people never run into their millions because they never believe they're going to have it in this moment. The second you have belief in it in this moment, you want Wealth Wednesday? Be in this moment. Choose joy over misery. How would you sit differently if you had $1 million sitting in the bank? Probably wouldn't be on this call. But imagine if we were all on this call. There's now 43 millionaires on this call. There's 43 millionaires on this call, and this is the millionaire call. That's kind of the requirement to get here. And you've now all qualified. How do you sit differently? How do you see the day differently? What don't you fret over? What doesn't consume your energy? Wealth Wednesday. What doesn't consume your energy sitting as a millionaire? Do you have to eat a certain way? Do you have aromatherapy? Do you have essential oils somewhere in your room and you're breathing essential oils? You got the essential oils in the cabinet. You got essential oils sitting in your cabinet, but you're not using them. You're not sprinkling them around your house because you would normally have one of your caretakers do that. You wake up in the morning, you want to wake up to lavender, and then when you go into the bathroom, you want to smell frankincense, and then when you go to the breakfast nook, you sit down, there's I don't know, lemon oil. Imagine if you walk through your house with the different aromas. Do y'all realize that what you smell when you smell something, 15 seconds, it's in your blood system? Why not be smelling joy and wealth and happiness and boost your immune system all in the same breath? I'm just saying we've got these things to understand to show us how wealthy we already are. How many of you have running water in your house? You know how many millions of people? You know how many kids today are picking up a 5-gallon bucket, an old gas can looking 5-gallon thing to walk a mile, 2 miles, 5 miles, risk their life to go get nasty water? When you start to take into account the joy that you have and you understand the wealth that already exists in your world, in the individual worlds that are on this call, when you start to realize the wealth that exists, you'll start to be able to share things at a different level. It's this idea of comparison. A lot of times, whenever there's a couple of instructors out there, Ray Higdon is one, they talk about Wealth Wednesday and Rank Makers. And one of the things that pops up always in the comments is, yeah, but Ray, I'm struggling right now. Well, maybe that's a clue. We go into instant comparison about wealth. What would you pay to have a story again with a loved one? What would one more story with a loved one who's passed on? What would one more story with a loved one be worth? What would a dinner with an icon of yours, an idol of yours, somebody that you'd be like absolutely floored to spend a dinner with? What would that be worth? You know what? There's somebody out there right now that's putting a price on the chance to be with you. They're putting the price on the chance to be with you. Could be a son, a daughter, a mother, a sister. To get a note from you, to get a message from you, to get a call from you. The ability for them to be able to receive a message from you would change their life. How much wealth do you have to give away? That's the question. How much wealth do you have to give away? I can promise you money doesn't make you wealthy. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've watched it. Money only makes you more of who you are. That's why when we see people who go out and have amazing money, fast money, right? They call it new money. There's new money and there's old money. Old money knows how to get by. The Rockefellers still have endowment funds. The Rockefellers still pay, I think there's 147 Rockefellers who live off of the estate. 147, 7 generations later, 8 generations later, something like that, crazy money. 147, still multi-millionaire. You don't hear about the Rockefellers in the news. There's protocol. There's ways to operate. There's good, sound business practices to become wealthy. Wallace D. Waddell says it in the book, Science to Getting Rich. Napoleon Hill talks about it, Think and Grow Rich. Why, if these books are such iconic symbols and such iconic workbooks of success, why isn't it taught in school? Well, because that's woo-woo stuff. We need to program everybody in a particular way so that they can fit into society. Well, last time I checked, most of the people in society aren't really happy where they're at. What are you doing? Who's a good boy? So, what do you do for Wealth Wednesday? What can you do to raise your own wealth? Why not go collect smiles? Why not go collect smiles? How many smiles can you collect today? I know we talk about giving them. I know we talk about giving away, doing your messages of gratitude. But here's the question. How many smiles could you collect today? If you got paid $10 for every smile you'd collect, who'd be going out and getting a clown costume? And be putting on a big red nose and running around town going, woohoo! Did that get your attention? Did that get your attention? Who'd go out and get a puppy? Well, I just made some money. What are you doing? What are you doing? Give me kisses? Yes, you are. So my point is that Wealth Wednesday, we always talk about money, but money is nothing more than energy. Nothing's more than energy. It's nothing more than energy. So how is he? Yeah, Diane, he is growing. He's like double in size. So how do we just collect energy? How do we move energy? How do we encourage people to be able to live with more energy? The energy that people want, the energy that people are looking for, the wealth people are looking for. Where's everybody's wealth? Is it outside of them or inside of them? It's inside of them. And if it's inside of them, then the question becomes, how does it come out? How does it come out of them? How do we allow it out of them? How do they allow it out of themselves? You want to create Wealth Wednesday? Personal undevelopment. How do you help people untell old stories? How do you get them to shed the things that keep them from smiling every day, from walking into their joy every day? Sometimes it's as simple as a thank you. You telling them thank you for being here. I think he's winding up for a howl. So what can you do today? Do you have some ideas that you could do today? Type it in the chat. What are some neat things you're thinking that you're going to do today that maybe you haven't done in a while, or maybe you've never done? You can put $2 in a diaper box if you go to a store. You're gonna sing on camera. You're gonna be a little goofy on camera today. Go do a live or something. You're gonna do something you're not used to doing. Cool. Okay, you're gonna make a video. That's outstanding. I can tell you, in order for share avocados. There you go. Listen, some of the greatest gifts we have are the simplest things, and they mean the most. A smile, an avocado. I can tell you some of the best meals I've had. Exactly. Some of the best meals I've had was with my operations, director of operations in Puerto Rico. And she would go out to a tree at a restaurant. She goes, "Ooh, I know where we're going for lunch today." And we would go to lunch, and we'd park, and I go, "Where are you going?" She's like, "Going behind the restaurant." And she goes, "I'm going to get an avocado." I'm like, now this is me from Florida at the time. This is 15 years ago. No, it's even longer, 20 years ago. And I didn't know, I kind of knew avocados grew on a tree. I don't know that I ever saw an avocado tree before. And I go, "What the hell are those?" "They're avocados." I go, "Really?" And she picked an avocado, and we went inside and we had lunch, and she cut the avocado and peeled it and put it on my plate. And that was one of the best meals I've ever had. I can still remember it. I can still remember her reaching over to go get to reaching up to get the avocado off the tree. That was a wealthy memory. It was 20 plus years ago. And the only reason I thought of it is because Delia said, "I'm going to go give an avocado away." She's got a tree full of avocados. How many of you have a tree full of something? How many of you have a tree full of joy, tree full of smile, I'm looking at Jessica, a tree full of curls, right? She's got all of those amazing curls. Imagine if she had to say thank you every day for every curl. She'd be ironing that hair flat in a heartbeat. But she did that. She does that. We all do that. We all have these amazing gifts that we have to give. And it's who we are. It's already who we are. We don't have to go be something else. Wealth Wednesday is you realizing the wealth that you already have. So I see, let's see here. Going to dance on IG, Leo. Okay, cool. Love it. Live for smiles. There you go. I promise you, if you start to just say, hey, listen, all I want to do, imagine if you just sat there and smiled. Or you just started laughing. Imagine if you got on and just started laughing, going, this is going to be my laugh video for the day. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I can tell you right now, I'm just going to sit here and laugh. And you just start laughing. And then all of a sudden, what happens? You start laughing and you start laughing some more. And people start putting laughs in the comments. The idea that right now you can be an absolute icon in this winter season that exists right now in the economy and in the world, this winter season that we're all going through, if you become this little ray of light, the world will flock to you. Listen, there's somebody, I don't know who this woman is, but her name's Jay, and she does this IG live that all she does is giggle, and her smile is so brilliant, and all she does is just start laughing, and it's incredible. And she just does that like on Wednesdays. I don't know. Everybody tunes in to watch Jay laugh on Wednesdays, right? It's Joyous Jay on Wednesdays. Look at that. She can't even keep her smiles because she's trying to hide that smile. She's like, yeah. Right? Amanda's got an amazing smile. Latoya's got an incredible smile. Y'all got like this. I mean, it's like the hottie of smiles. There's Amanda. She's got her sister, right? And they have that fun stuff. Right now, the world needs some laughs. The world needs some laughs. It needs somebody to put their arm around them and say, you know what? We're going to get through this. That's what I'd share with you today. Yeah, it's about building your business. I promise you, you can get into tactics and strategies of building the business. What worked in February ain't going to work now. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. People need to understand the foundation of why they're making a decision to join you. And it's not about the compensation plan. It's just not. People have realized that they can do without a lot. People are realizing they can do a lot with a little. People are sensitive. People are scared. They're afraid to invest that thing called money until they know the investment is real. And what the foundation, the fundamental that exists, then it has always existed and has never changed, is people do business with who? Type it in the chat. People do business with who? And because that philosophy is always valid, they know, they like, they trust. They do business with you. They do business with people they know, they like, they trust. Right now, people are there's this huge gap of people wanting to truly know people. They're realizing they didn't know half of the people they knew. They're surprised with the way they've responded. Listen, I'm surprised with the way some people have responded. People who I thought I knew, I'm shocked at the way they've responded and the way they're continuing to perform during this time. Now, listen, it is who they are. But what happens is that we become more of who we are when we're put under a little pressure. It's why Les Brown said there's going to be 3 people come out of this scenario: millionaires, billionaires, and witnesses. I'd ask you to not be a witness. I'd ask you to go do what you can do with all of the skill and the talent you do right now. All of the skill and the talent you have right now. There are birds of a feather. Every one of you could create a six-figure monthly income in 18 months. You just got to work your butt off. You got to go with sleepless nights. You got to step out and do things you've never done before. You got to figure out on the fly. You got to figure out done is the new perfect. And then get better, and then do done better. And then do done a little bit better more. All right? If there's an English teacher on here right now, their head just exploded. Go do done better more. What? Ah, he didn't just say that, did he? Oh my God. The world needs you. The world needs you right now as you are. Right now as you are. Let them watch you. Stephanie, I'm not sure what I need to repeat. I mean, millionaires, billionaires, and witnesses. Yeah, Les Brown was on a call, a mastermind call that I'm a part of, and he jumped on, and he was in pure Les form, and he said, you know, in this, right? Les is laughing. Oh my God, my baby brown, my baby boy. Oh my God, 2019, could you come back? I'm so sorry I said bad things about you. 2020 is just mean, right? And then he goes, listen, I want to be very clear. He says, listen, he said, it hit me the other day. Out of this scenario, there's going to be three kinds of people. There'll be millionaires, there'll be billionaires, and there'll be witnesses. And everybody, you could just hear everybody grab a pen. You could just hear everybody go, So what is the desire you have for this Wealth Wednesday? What is the desire? What is the wealth you can give away today? What is the freedom you can give to somebody? This whole idea that you can find a way to be of service to somebody. You can find a way to have that joy. Because I can promise you this, wealth happens in an instant. Where are you looking for your wealth? In your past or in your future? Well, either place you'll never find it, because where do you spend your wealth? In the now. So where do you have to have the wealth? In the now. This is a hard concept, but I can promise you, you talk to every millionaire, you talk to every billionaire. What was it that got them to the billions? It was a single idea. A single idea did it. Right? Microsoft. Single idea. Now, most people don't realize, but Bill Gates had access, and he bought the rights to the DOS programming from IBM. IBM didn't think it would go anywhere, but he bought the rights. He bought the rights to DOS. Then I think he sold it to IBM because his parents were on the board of directors of IBM. You don't go to Harvard. I guess you can go to Harvard on a scholarship, and I know some people who have, but Harvard's a pretty important school, a pretty expensive school. My point is that he wasn't really starting out in a garage, although that's where the business started. The question then becomes, what happened? Where does he show up next? How does he show up next? And so he shows up by wanting to put one idea. He wants to own the operating system for every computer. He doesn't own the computers. He wanted to own the operating system. One idea. Wouldn't it be possible to say that every one of you is one idea away? Right? Russell Brunson talks about one idea away from, one funnel away from success. We're always just one idea away. That's where the wealth comes in. It's just one idea. One idea that can happen next. One idea that can take care of everybody. That's all it takes. When you have that one idea that allows everybody to be able to take care of themselves, to be able to come up with just this simple idea, this simple concept, that's Wealth Wednesday. What's the one idea you're waiting for? Yeah, Jay, you only have to be right once. There's an idea, there's a concept, there's something you're working on that you need to fetter out. You need to run the traps on. You need to run it through the ditches. There's an idea, there's a concept right now that you're working on. There's something you need to do on social media. There's something you need to do in your organization. That one idea is what's going to serve you. You've got to take some time. That's why they talk about meditation and writing your goals, and every day writing your goals. Mark Victor Hansen, every night before he goes to bed, says, God, what's your greatest, highest, and best use for me? 400 times he asks that. How many times are you asking? How many times are you asking for your success? How many times are you asking, what is your best purpose? How many times are you asking to find your wealth? Is this the wealthiest thing I could be doing right now? In our profession, we call it IPAs. Is this the wealthiest thing you could be doing right now? What would change? What would change if you started operating at the highest of intentions? We all want more income. Well, how's your outgoing? How's your outgoing energy? Right? If law of attraction works, how many of you believe your thoughts can influence your day? What thoughts do you have going out into the world right now? What thoughts do you have going out into the world right now? Are they of the highest energy? If birds of a feather flock together, if like produces like, congratulations, where you're at, it's your fault. Good, bad, or indifferent. So what energies do you have going out? Do you send out your 3 messages, 4 messages a day, 5 messages a day, 15 messages a day? How many messages did you send out today so far? How many messages of gratitude? How many messages? You want to kind of get a good indicator? Yeah, Emily, impact over income. Absolutely. A buddy of mine, Scott Schilling, tells a story about he was talking to somebody. They're launching their book, and they were launching it at the same time 50 Shades of Grey was launching. And they're like, ugh, I'm going to get killed. He says, well, are you looking for impact or fame? How many people need to read your book? How many people need to be impacted by your book? Well, I just won. Well, then why are you worrying about who your competition is, who you're being launched against on Amazon? It is about impact. So how much impact? How long can your smile last with somebody? How long can you leave a memory with somebody? See, if we take that idea, how long can you leave a memory with somebody? It comes back to why people can't make their decision to get started in your business. They get all excited at point A, but point B is where the decision needs to happen, and you're not with them at point B. They have to have a memory strong enough, wild enough, big enough that at point B, where they actually have to put the rubber to the road, make the decision. Because everybody can make an agreement. I'm in. Great. I'll send you over the link. I ain't in. So how do you wind up getting through all of this process? How do you wind up getting somebody at point B to remember that you're the one that's important, right? They say it used to be 6 to 8 times they used to have to show marketing. Now it's up to 16 times. They've got to see you, hear you, taste you, feel you, touch you, see, get a feeling of you. They've got it 16 times. And people tell me all the time, well, I posted 2 times on Instagram and nobody's liked it. 16 times. And that's a person. It's not 16 posts. Unless you've got a raving fan, there's a good chance you've got 16, in order to get in front of somebody's eyeballs 16 times. I have no idea how many posts you'd have to make to get in front of one person 16 times. Unless your content is that enticing, that motivating, that inspiring. And I can tell you, if you look like everybody else on social media with your posts, you really can't stop the scroll. You want to stop the scroll? Tell a story. Because by design, when somebody hears you telling a story about somebody else, they wonder if somebody will ever tell a story about them. And part of the reason people listen to stories about other people is they want to see, what does it take to qualify? What does it take to qualify to have a story told about you? I talk about you guys all day long because you're all little oddballs, but you're good oddballs. You're oddballs in a great way. You're oddballs in a way that the world needs you right now. You're an oddball like me. But I tell stories about you all the time to people. Jay, I tell your story out of 7 days. I tell it 7 times a week. I don't. Sometimes it's twice a day. Sometimes it might get skipped a day. But I tell your story about 5 steps. I tell your story about the summit, and I talk about that, and it's amazing, and I love to be able to tell that story. I tell Zalika's story. I talk about that. I talk about the generational curses story that came from the summit. I talk about that every day. Couple of times a day, I'm telling somebody about that story and how amazing you all are. You know what? People like to hear me tell stories. And they're amazed, they're floored, they're blown away after I tell them the story, and I go, and they're all kids. I go, what do you mean kids? I go, they're like under 30. Like, really? What are 30-year-olds doing hanging out with you? I go, I have not a clue. So Wealth Wednesday, how many smiles can you share today? How many smiles can you put in the world today? Listen, if you got paid by the smiles you collected, what would change? What would change from you giving to receiving? Oh, thank you, Erica. What would change from you giving to receiving if you got paid by the smiles you collected today? Listen, that's exactly how I get paid. There's no other form of compensation that I have. I get paid by the smiles I put in the world. Jim Rohn says it's when you add value. Income is like a ladder. And the higher you go on the ladder, the more income you receive. And the way you get more income is you provide more value. What value will you provide today that people will say, I got to have that? I got to have that. Not a question. Listen, how do you make your value addictable? That's the question. How do you find, we call them advocates. We call them people who love to talk about us, but how do you become something that people need in their day? How do you get people addicted to the good feeling you put in their bodies? Listen, I know this, and that's why I do it, because it serves a purpose for me. It's very self-full in my purpose. But when I say I love to see Jay smile, and then all of a sudden it shows up, right? How could you not? Jessica's laugh, Amanda's smile, right? RBP, when she's chasing the cat around her neck, right? All of these things. Torchinsky's smile. I feel like I'm at a hockey game, and there goes Torchinsky down on the side, and it's right? Leo's smile in his dance. There he is. He just popped on. I think we saw him shaving his head the other day. Is that what he was doing, or he's trying to color in the hair? I'm not sure. He kept going back and forth around. I wasn't sure what he was doing. People need to laugh. People need to laugh. They need to be inspired. Listen, I know this is going to sound crazy, but Wealth Wednesday, man, people need permission to laugh. People are being told you can't be happy right now. This isn't a good time. I think it's an amazing time. Henley, I think that's an amazing idea. 17 to inspire your peers for self-development. What I would encourage you is that they're at the age 17, 18. If they lived in a reasonably positive household, self-talk says that, and research has shown, and over the years, that at the age of 17, you've heard no fewer than about 114,000 times negative self-talk. Can't do it, not good enough, not tall enough, short enough, no, 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 don't do that. We don't do that. That's not who we are, blah, blah, blah. 114 to 117,000 times. You have an opportunity right now at 17 to undevelop some of those old stories. Because otherwise, by show of hands or by typing a M in the chat, I'm going to ask, I'm not sure if it's Jada. I mean, I'm probably saying that wrong, but I know Henley, I can say that right. By show of hands, by typing an M in the chat, how many of you wish at 17 you could have given up an old story at 17? Type an M in the chat. So I want you to look at that. I want you to look at how many people wish at 17 they got on a call like this. And they absolutely had the courage to type that. I want to give you the biggest hug for having the courage at 17 to type that. You may not think you needed courage, but I'm telling you, you needed courage. You just paid into my Wealth Wednesday. You're going to be a story I tell today. A 17-year-old shows up on my call. And that 17-year who shows up on my call types in the chat going, I want to help my peers. You know what I was doing at 17? I was not worrying about my peers. So I applaud you. My hat's off to you. I'm absolutely blown away, and my day is absolutely to the moon and back because you showed up. So I'm going to ask you to spend more time. How do you uncover the story that's holding you back right now? Because you're going to go develop some great information. You're going to find some new ideas. You're going to learn some personal development, and it's going to be built on top of a story that's not serving you well. I know it's a lot to show up on a call and all of a sudden go, what the hell? I just made a comment in the chat. Why is this call all about me? It's all about you because you're our future. You're the ones that will be guiding this planet. The 17-year-olds, the 18-year-olds. At some point, you're going to have the reins. And for you to show up on a call like this, you're going to be handed the reins. I promise you that. At 17, you may not think it, but I promise you at 21, at 22, at 25, you're going to be handed reins. You're going to be handed responsibilities. You're going to be asked to change the course of humanity. And it's because you showed up, and whoever got you on this call and however you found this, and I'm pretty sure I can guess how you found this, you owe them a big bit of gratitude. But whoever made you at 16 start to look for personal development, and 15, whatever things that happened on the way to this moment, you're absolutely the reason that I wake up every morning, is to see a chat like that. So I applaud you. I congratulate you. I'm in awe of you being here. Yeah, if you've got a chance, go ahead and raise your hand, Jada. I'd love to bring you on. I got to find you because I got you all muted because I wasn't sure what was going on here. Let's see here if I can find you. There you are. I'm going to ask you to unmute if you'd like to share. Well, she's figuring that out. So, okay, cool. So all I'm saying, and just, I'm dropping off at the door. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Look at that, multitasking. So this idea of Wealth Wednesday, this idea of you being more, having more, it happens in a moment. It happens in a moment. So the idea of you got to have $1 million to be wealthy, I promise you, if you got a roof over your head, if you've got one person that likes you, and that one person being you, you're wealthy in this world right now. You're wealthy in this world. The world needs you. It needs you to be able to be a part of who we are and how we're making the world a better place, a special place. So, let's see here. Doo, doo, doo. Do you see that, Bob? I just asked you to unmute. There you go, brother.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you're talking about smiles and what someone might do today. You can't see my smiles. I'll get my camera fixed eventually, but I'm thinking that you don't have to be on camera to have your enthusiasm, your joy make itself known through your conversation. Today I have to, I don't have to, I get to reach out to somebody through another somebody. And the first somebody is somebody who every one of you would know by name for the purposes of which I cannot reveal at the moment, but it's somebody so important that it's likely to impact every one of you that's on this call eventually.
Oh, how cool is that?
Now, now the interesting thing is that I'm approaching it with a little different approach than maybe I've had the opportunity to use in the past, and that is I need to make a contact, and the first person that I'm going to contact to get that second contact is somebody that I've known but I haven't been in touch with for quite a long time. And you would think that even at my age, at slightly over 3/4 of a century, it wouldn't be nerve-wracking or anything like that. But I got to admit, there's a little bit of tension there. Okay, but the thing is, I'm asking for a favor, and the mindset with which I'm going to approach it is, I'm not just asking for you to connect me with this very important person. I'm expecting even much, much more. So much more that I don't even have it identified, all of the things that I'm expecting will come of this, for me personally.
Right.
But by adopting the mindset that it's such an expansive ask, if you will, that it changes the nature. Instead of just asking, well, can I borrow $5,000?
Right.
I'm really anticipating the universe granting me much, much, much more than the $5,000. And it shifts the way you think about, the way you feel about, and what you transmit to the universe by adopting a different way of asking. So that's a little tactic that I'm going to employ today. I don't know. Maybe you can expand on it, Sean.
Well, I agree with that. We were in a mastermind not long ago, and Mark Victor Hansen and Rhonda was there with me. Mark Victor Hansen, Crystal Dwyer, they created this book, right? Ask.
Right.
And it's a whole book about asking. And what you said, Bob, is that, I'm expecting the universe to grant me more, 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 and more. I think we think too small in our asks.
Right. And and because of that, it limits what you're internally responding to in terms of your ask. If you're only asking for one little thing, one little thing I'm asking for, yeah.
Yep.
You can put yourself in the position of saying, well, what if I don't get it? Oh,
Well, I know in the first place I heard in network marketing was, well, are they in your business before you ask? No, and if they don't get in your business after you ask, what'd you lose? But it's still hard to wrap your head around that, right? They're not in it now, and if I ask them and they're not in it, my net gain is zero. I didn't lose anything other than the feeling of just that
Yeah,
rejection.
I think it's a matter of anticipation. I'm anticipating so much more uh, reward or benefit than what I'm, you know, articulating in a very limited way.
Right.
And that shifts my mindset. That shifts my emotions.
Well, I think part of the reason that we ask people is because we know they can probably serve us in the ask. And if it's something in their desire to serve in the ask, like I watched Mark Victor Hansen on a call the other day with Tom Chenault, and there was 50 people on the call. This is a guy who sold 600 million books, and he's on an interview, and there's 50 people on a live, and he's presenting in such a way, in such a form and fashion, and had another guest on there as well, Mitzi. But he was just delivering because in the ask of Tom Chenault to Mark Victor Hansen, it was an amazing ask, and Mark got to talk about the thing he loves about. So I think if we ask people to stay in their wheelhouse, the joy that they get is absolutely amazing, and it does, and they're always willing to work towards something that serves them as well. So I think it's a pretty cool idea, and I'm waiting to, I can't wait to hear what happens through the conversations.
Well, I may or may not ever be able to reveal this journey, if you
Yep.
will, but it is, if it works, it I can assure you it is not non-significant. It's
Well, I wish you all the best in that journey, and I hope as clandestine as it becomes, I hope we all still, even if it stays clandestine, we all get to reap the rewards of that ask. That'll be cool.
So do I. Thanks.
You bet, Bob. Let's go to Jada. And again, I'm probably saying it wrong. I'm going to ask her to unmute again. She's probably back in the car now. I think you're unmuted, but I can't hear you. Do, 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 do. Nope. Don't hear you. Your mic's unmuted. It's not just me, right? Nobody can hear. Okay. So let's see if you figure that out and come back and figure out what's going on there. I'd love to hear from you, Henley. Jessica. Trias.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Outstanding, my love.
I would like to ask if you could do some energy work with my back.
Okay. So, which part of the back? Upper, lower back?
Lower.
Lower back. Lower back. And so that's where we carry a lot of old story. So there's some old story showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So scale of 1 to 10, where's it at?
It's 9.
It's a 9, so pretty significant. Sitting there right now, you feel the 9, or do you get up and move and feel the 9?
I get maybe at 8.
Okay. What number would you like it to get to?
I would like it to be 0.
Okay. And if it goes to a 0, what's the new story?
The new story would be to keep improving it as much as I can.
Well, it's already a 0. If it's a 0, then what's the story? You got to fill the space of my back hurts. What are you going to fill the space with my back hurts? What you used to say, I can't, my back, it hurts so much. What are you going to fill that space with?
I'm so grateful my back doesn't hurt, and
Okay.
I don't want it to appear somewhere else.
What's it keeping you from doing right now?
It's
There's a task you need to be doing right now that you can't do as to your highest. What is?
um, facing things head on.
Okay.
I've written down.
Okay, cool. So, do me a favor, big breath, body scan real quick. It was at a 8 or a 9 before. What's it at right now? The fact that you're still talking, that we just talked about a little bit. What is it? Has it gotten worse? Has it gotten better?
Maybe a 7,
Okay,
6.
so it's being loved. So the fact that we love it. So what color would you give that discomfort in your back? If you had to give it a color.
Orange.
Orange. And healing light, what color would you give healing light?
White.
White. So do me a favor, close your eyes. And if anybody else is in pain on the call that's feeling some pain somewhere, some discomfort, picture the color of whatever it is, what color you would give the pain. Brown, black, white, green, blue, purple, whatever it is, and picture the color that you would have of white light. And just what I want you to do is I want you to breathe in that white light, and I want you to exhale the color. I want you to exhale the color of that discomfort. Big breath in, exhale through the mouth. And so as you keep doing that, understand that that discomfort in your back came on because of a story you told yourself, a story that revealed itself. So be aware of this idea that you're feeling better. Be this idea that your back is aligning itself. The energy, the blood flow, all of that orange that you're giving away is going away every time you exhale. And every time you inhale the white light, it goes in through your lungs and instantly to your back to alleviate that discomfort. And you can feel it right now. You can feel the energy flowing. You can feel the energy coursing through that part of your back, lower left part of your back. And you're feeling it, and all of a sudden it's starting to go away, and your new story is, I can go do the things I need to do. I can face the things I need to face head on. Quick body scan. Tell me what number it's at now.
4.
So inside of 5 minutes, we could do that. I would encourage you, go ahead and mute the sound on us real quick. And do that breathing for the next couple of minutes and take it from a 4 down to a 1.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now, so somebody asked, what the hell is this? I thought this was like a personal development call. It is a personal development call because sometimes our body, everything that you want, every goal that you want, every dream that you want, every idea that you want is stored in your body. It is not stored in your mind. Getting one more idea, one more conference call, one more audible, one more. It's not there. It's not there. Listen, if How worked, we'd all be billionaires. If How worked, we'd all be billionaires. You can Google. Listen, we've got the most overweight population in the history of the planet. It's all available. It's all available. It's all available. Why people can how themselves to skinniness, they can how themselves to be a size 0. To get to a size 0, it's out there. How many people live more than an hour away from a gym? How many people have equipment in their house? You can get healthy. We got places to where you can walk and not have to worry about getting eaten by a tiger. You can get healthy. You can how, but people that Tony Robbins calls it the tyranny of how. And so what happens is that whenever we're getting close to a goal, whenever we're getting close to our wealth, our body kicks in. Our body shows up and says, you're going to get a headache. How many of you get headaches when you're starting to have some good success, or you get a little bit of a cold, or you get a little bit of, you twist your ankle, or you cut your finger? All of these things happen because it's our old story going, wait a minute, you're about to change. And if you change, everything changes. And if everything changes, I no longer exist. And if I no longer exist, the old story fights and it kicks and it screams and it comes up with ways for you to have arguments with your significant others. You get in an argument with your best friend who you've been friends with forever, and all of a sudden you're about to reach the next rank in your business, and all of a sudden you've got this argument going on and you never reach the next rank. And boy, oh my gosh, you call it coincidence. You call the world is against you. The world isn't against you. Your body's against you. And when you understand that these pains that you have in your body, it's not because of the pain. It's because of the old story. You want to become wealthy? Move your body. You want to become wealthy? Move your body. Be in control of your body. The brain thinks it's in charge. The heart is in charge. You want Wealth Wednesday? The heart is in charge. And when your heart is in charge, it sends more information to the brain, and the brain sends to the heart. You realize when you were being born, you had a heart before you were a brain. Why were we trying to think ourselves out of this stuff, this pain that we're in? You can't think yourself out of it. You have to love yourself out of it. And that's where nobody's teaching you how to love yourself. They're teaching you how to get a script and go do something, and how to prospect people. And how many times did you show the plan? There ain't no plan you could show right now that's going to work. You have to show from your heart. You have to be an example of joy. You want to be able to build a huge organization? Somebody's going to go, why? How the hell are you happy right now? Because I've worked on me. I've sharpened my saw. Nobody wants to jump in your bucket of misery and have an extra $1,000. $1,000 is nothing. $10,000 is nothing. People are paying for wealth right now, and the wealth they need to find is to be able to look at their son or their daughter and go, I love you. To be able to look at their friends and say, I've got an answer for you. I've got a lifeline for you. You've got to grab on. Every one of you have this skill. Every one of you have this talent. For those of you that showed up here today, I'm pretty sure I know how you got here today. You've got an amazing, incredible mentor who guides you and says, listen, this guy's worth listening to. When you understand that all of the success that you need is in your body, it's in your choice within this frame, this system that you operate in. This is about personal undevelopment. I started the season 2 of The Secret Sauce. It's about personal undevelopment. It's about asking the questions you're not used to being asked. It's about you uncovering and shedding this old story, this old ego story that you're presenting who you are. Man, I'm doing great. I'm wonderful, and I'm still not doing so well. I got the nice watch, but don't pan down too far because I can't afford the shoes. This is about you taking care of you. This is about you stepping into your soul. This is about you no longer competing with everybody else. Wallace D. Wattles in his book, Science of Getting Rich, says there's a thinking stuff from which all things are made that permeates, penetrates, and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought held in that substance will be produced by that. We must move from the competitive world to the cooperative world, and we need to begin cooperating with ourself. And when you start giving yourself permission to smile a little bit more, when you start to give yourself permission for people to hear your story, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be 50 years old to have a story. You could be 12 years old and have a story. Many of you had things happen to you in your childhood that you're afraid to tell anybody about. I can promise you there's more people that understand you than you think understand you. And we keep insulating it. We keep isolating it from the world. And Brené Brown says that's going to kill you. This thing, shame versus guilt. Well, I can't tell that. I'm ashamed of that. Listen, you tell that story, you're going to free somebody else. I know I keep going to her. I can't wait to meet her in person. I'm in awe of this person, but Jay's got the story of the 5 steps, and you watch her IG stuff, and she says, I'm giving you 2. You ask me for the other 3. I promise you're going to want to ask her for the other 3. Because the 5-step story that she tells, she was on the summit, the 5-step story she told on the summit, about truly 5 steps, not 5 ways to get out of jail, 5 ways to get your life back, 5 steps she had to climb to get her life back. When you understand the significance of what she talks about in the 5 steps, and she was never, ever, ever, never going to tell that story. That thing was locked in. That thing was buried under concrete. That thing was buried under dirt, and you had to have a code to open up the dirt. I mean, it was like Pandora's box. And boy, she came out and told the story. Talk about the wealth she's freed up. She started talking about telling that story, and she got a job back. Not that she wanted to go back to the job, but the job showed up. As soon as she freed the story and said, I'm going to tell this story, the job showed up. It showed up so much she had to send in a recording. For the day she releases it, she can't do it. She's got to send in a recording because the universe brought her the solution she wanted, and she did both. This whole idea that you can't do it all, that's somebody else's story of your limitations. So let's try Jada again. Let's see if we can get her. I'm asking her to unmute. Let's see if we can get her.
Good morning.
Hey, there we go. Now tell me your first name.
My name is Jada. You had it right.
Okay, good. I was getting it right. Yay. Hey, good morning, Jada.
Good morning. First of all, thank you for allowing me to be on this call.
You are.
I love speaking to people. So,
and you're
my
17.
name is Jada. I'm 17.
God
I'll be
bless
18 next week. It's been a long year. I've been trying to prepare myself for everything that comes when I turn 18, you know, credit, taxes, everything. So my purpose is to inspire others to figure out how to be the best version of themselves, whatever they desire. Because, you know, not everybody wants to be rich. Not everybody wants this. Like, everyone has their own personal desires.
Yep.
And so my goal is I don't want to actively influence people, but I want to be the best version of myself and have my peers like notice that and want to be better themselves.
Yep.
So, do you have any questions?
I do. Do you journal?
Yes. Actually, I just bought my second journal, and I love journaling. I tell everyone, like, you really should write down your goals, your affirmations, your plans, your struggles. You should write everything down. That way you can narrow down your focus and actually, you know, be able to have concrete ideas in your head. And you can actually, you can manifest things through writing them down, because you convince yourself, you know, you're putting that energy out there.
Yep. Law of attraction. Get it. And the key is it's the reason that most people's law of attraction doesn't work is because they're not in the essence of the attraction. They're in the idea of the attraction, not the essence of it. So I'd ask you, when you journal at night, if you journal at night, I'd ask you to ask yourself 3 questions before you go to sleep at night that'll catapult your awakenings in the morning. And those 3 things are: what did I do well? What could I have done better? And then the third one, what talent, resource, or contact do I need to come into my life tomorrow? Because your subconscious has picked it up. The subconscious has picked it up. Your reticular activating system right now has you on this high energy. We take in about 5 million bits of information per second. We're conscious of 40 of it. So you've got millions of bits of content and context that are running through your mind that your subconscious, your prefrontal cortex hasn't really popped up into the long-term memory, because it's not become of value, because your reticular activating system doesn't see a need to store that resource. So if you start asking, what contact, resource, or skill do I need to come into my life tomorrow? Not only during your night that you're going to have you'll start to have these dreams going, oh my God, I had this crazy dream that I met so-and-so, and all of a sudden they show up in your life.
I believe it. I do the what did I do great and what could I improve, like, on a weekly basis, but definitely the third implement that you suggested, I will do. Yeah,
what talent, resource, or skill can I have in the morning when I wake up? And then I would encourage, go ahead.
How you were talking about what you were saying with taking control of your body. Yep. I 100% agree. I just started actually going back to the gym, and like I've been in a consistent rate, and I actually got my sister to start going with me, and she's kind of like not as motivated. So it's been really great, you know, being able to guide her as well. And now we've just gotten a third person to start going with us, and she feels a lot better. I feel a lot better, and I tell people it's good to work out, like to take care of your body, because it's good to carry your own weight, you know, not necessarily physically, but it's good to be able to have that strong mentality that you can carry your own weight. And the gym or any type of physical exercise is a way to, you know, break down yourself to get stronger. It's a way
Yep.
to weaken yourself to get stronger. But then the next time, you'll be able to perform better.
And that's what
So
happens every time for every breakdown there's a breakthrough. And that's in personal undevelopment as well. So I applaud you. I'm so glad that you typed in what you typed in. I'm so glad we got to have this conversation today. I love hearing your energy, and we're birds of a feather who flock together. We're a psychographic, not a demographic. We're two individuals that kind of think on the same plane. But if we were to look at demographics, there'd absolutely be no way that if you were going into an auditorium to sit with folks who are kind of like you, that you and I would be sitting next to each other. That would just be that would be a blessing of nature. But we got to be on this call together, and I'm honored to have a conversation with you, because where you're at is what the world needs right now, and your desire to be an example of what to do. It inspires me more, and I'm glad I woke up this morning to get on this call.
thank you so much. I know I was so happy to see in the group chat your Zoom call, and I clicked it immediately, and I'm glad I shared too. Thank you for the opportunity.
I think it probably came from Nano, because that's usually when the numbers start climbing like that, it comes from a Nano call. So I love him. He's an amazing soul. I learn from him all the time, and I'm so glad we met him and I met in a sign up line. He was at an event and he was getting ready to sign in for the event. And I just happened to by and shook his hand, and that handshake and conversation has turned into now a 17-month, 18-month relationship that's just been absolutely incredible. So
I love that. I love conferences. I do freelance photography, and conferences are one of the places I love to go.
Oh, cool.
Find a lot of inspiring conversations.
So yeah, so one of the things that's unique is that you can you tell stories and pictures, but one of the ways that you can draw people in is telling stories about the picture. Right? You let pictures tell the story, but if you tell the story about the picture, why it caught your eye, and if you just post it and you could hold up that picture while you're doing an IG live and say, this picture says a lot about people, but here's why I took the picture. And all of a sudden it allows people to see a different side of you. And that allows people to engage with you in business, because you can use every one of those pictures as a leadership story.
Well, perfect. Thank you.
You bet. Well, Jada, thanks for being here this morning. You're awesome.
For sure. See you next time.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
Yay. That's so cool. Daniela, where you at, girl? Ujic, where are you? Oh, I got to ask you to unmute. Sorry. You're screaming at me on the other side.
I am. I'm like, I can't unmute.
I know. I'm sorry.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
So I woke up early. I was happy. I was perfectly fine. And I just had so much like rage come over me.
Cool.
But I feel like it tails with the dreams I've been having, and they're so vivid, and they all resonate back home.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are in those dreams kind of shift, like they switch from different person to different person every night.
Yep.
And there are people that have been in my life for a very long time, but I don't have as much contact with them anymore.
Right. So what's your question?
And my question is, I'm trying it. Wait, hold on. That's not what I'm trying. That's not what I'm doing. Hold on. I don't know if my dreams are trying to tell me something, because I have like Kayla shows up in Bosnia. Like what? Where out of all people, Kayla's there?
Yep.
And
I couldn't think of anybody else that should be there.
And then I started thinking, is it because what I'm trying to do with my business and Kayla's already done it? Or am I just over analyzing everything that's happening and I'm just aggravating myself?
Well, the rage part is you aggravating yourself to keep you off to throw you off your track, because that's what's happened in the past. This is now self-aggravation, where you used to have an external aggravation, be it a significant other or other family member, right? The restaurant or this, that, or the other. So you've got all of these things, but now all of a sudden it's you starting to take care of you, and it's you turning yourself against you. And the people in Bosnia, whether it's people that you haven't had contact with in a while, it's people, I would look at it as I need to reach out to them.
Okay.
And because one of those strangest things, right? You go, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's this, you won't believe what happened today. That's the universe going, I've got to, attention everybody on aisle 4, we've got a special. And so all of that happens. And what happens is that you start to feel a release. And the reason Kayla's there is because she's somebody of influence in your day, and somebody who you absolutely love the way she thinks and the way she just cuts through the chase. And so what you're getting is you're getting a coach through an idea and a concept that says cut through the chase and just ask. That'd be my interpretation of it. Does that help? Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
A little bit, yeah.
Cool.
I'll call you later.
All right, good. Jessica, how's your back?
It's good, thanks. It's feeling much better.
Yeah, what number? What if you had to give it a 1 to 10? Where are you at? A 2, 3?
Yeah.
So now the last part I'll leave you with is it okay to let it go? Because if you let it go, it's not coming back.
Yeah.
And that's part of the story. That's not your back. If you let go of that old story, right? You've shared with us in some of our masterminds and some of our other masterminds some really personal things, and this is tied to one of those things, is what I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, good.
Makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
when you let that go, that story's it's always there, but you no longer own it. Right now, it's a priority of ownership. And when you no longer own that, you can still tell the story, but when you choose to not own it, it's not coming back. That story at that level. So that pain no longer comes back now. Does that make sense?
Thank you so much. Yes, it does.
All right. I love you.
I love you too.
Yay. Delia, let's go to Miami. Oh, I got to ask to unmute. There we go. Did I ask her? Oh, ask to unmute. There we go.
Good morning.
Good morning, Delia.
I love the way Bob shared this morning.
Yes.
It was great about desire and asking, and what popped up with me as a reflection was belief in the asking. A lot of times I got what I wanted because I believed with my heart, right? We believe with our heart. I had faith that I would get what I was asking. And I didn't know the formula. I didn't know about Napoleon Hill or Waddles or Bob
Right.
Proctor. I was 14 years old. And when Bob was talking, and then when Danijela was talking, I can say, Delia, honor the desire to ask, because in the past it has worked for you.
That's exactly right. And if we just all asked a little bit more, that absolutely would change everything. You're absolutely right, Delia.
Exactly. And it is for me to work on believe on people. Because when I had a desire for anything that has manifested in my life, as young as 14 and as old as now, it has been because the belief, the conviction that I would get exactly what I was thinking. And then you spoke about, I closed my notebook, but let's see if I remember. You spoke about the idea of the law of attraction, and then the essence, which is in motion. You see it coming, it's moving your way. The easiest way that I can see it and share with everyone here on the call is, if you see what you want moving towards you, that's the essence.
Yep, absolutely.
What a wonderful call. I want to thank you, and that's why I wanted to come up and just share my reflection.
Well, I appreciate it, Delia. I love you bunches for sharing that. It's yeah, it's an awesome time right now, and the world is looking to answer our asks because of the way the energy is right now. So, RBP, you got the last couple words. I've got an 8 o'clock I've got to get on. So, oh, I got to ask you to unmute too. But I had you at co-host. Anyways,
No, you never did, but that's
Oh.
okay. You did a great job.
I was wondering why you were getting slack in there. I'm like,
I know. I was waiting for my messenger to start blowing up. Let me in. Let me in. I'm like, I can't. It's the essence is exactly what Delia said. You asked a question a minute ago that are we sitting in the thought of success or are we sitting in the essence of it? And last year about this time when everything just started literally just falling into my lap, it was the essence of it. And I was sitting over here reflecting, and I kept repeating a line to a lot of people because people would come up to me and go, man, I see you on social media and you're with this person and that person and things are really changing. What's going on with you? And I would go, I don't know. God just keeps putting all these amazing people around me and I keep getting in rooms that I really shouldn't be in, but I'm there and I don't know why. And it was the essence of just doing what your call was originally titled, getting out of your effing way. And F stands for whatever F you want it to stand for. And I had gotten out of my way and I literally just let God bring in every single thing he has for me. And it's not even a bringing in so much as it is an eye-opening awareness of what's already right here in front of me. I have strongly shifted my thoughts, and you have to come out from under other people's truths sometimes to find your own truths. And it's really everything's right here in front of you. You just can't see it yet. I think of it as when I ask my husband or my daughter to grab something for me in a room, and they walk in and it's the largest object in the room besides the furniture. And for the life of them, they can't see it. They won't see it. They can't see it. Nothing about them will find it. And I have taken them both by the hands, walked them into the room, pointed to it, and it's right there in plain sight. And they both go, oh, huh, never saw that. And that's exactly what success is for me. And I'm going to guess it's probably for everybody else. Is there's oftentimes we need to just, when we sit in the essence, we can walk into the room and immediately we see it. And then we are flabbergasted because it's that big and it's there for us. That becomes the astonishment. And so who do you have that will hold your hand and go, listen, come back in this room. It is right here. And they bring you back in and you go, how did I miss that? And it's because you need that one someone who's willing to be patient and not lose their mind. They might roll their eyes. They might huff a little. I've done that. I've made Sean huff and roll his eyes multiple times. His eyes are very strong now. And his breathing is a lot better. His deep breathing definitely is a lot better. Yeah. And he'll grab me by the hand and walk me back into a room. And I'm like, I'm not supposed to go in that room. I'm not supposed to go in that room. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, yes, you are. And he opens the door and he swift kicks me in the square of my pants and says, get in the room. Sometimes he leads me in. And then he points and he goes, that's success right there. And I go, I never saw it. But it's there. So sitting in the essence is sitting in the opportunity to let God bring to your brain the identification of success right in front of your face. And you really don't have to move that much. Now, the way that happens is when we physically move our bodies, we get our flesh shut down long enough to where we can actually hear our internal thoughts. The flesh screams really loud, the body screams really loud. Disease, unhealthy, obesity, headaches, pains, joint aches, stomach problems, hunger, all those eye problems, everything like that. The body, the flesh screams. And so physiology tells us when we work our body, like Jada said a minute ago, when we work our body and we kind of break it down and make it tired, we can actually hear the thoughts and see the success that God's planted around us. When I coached basketball, I often said, if I got their legs tired, their mouth would shut up long enough for me to be able to speak into them. And that's what Sean does for us. So can you accept Sean's leadership? And second of all, can you do that for somebody else and usher them into their success? That's where I'm at. So remember what I say, if you got a heartbeat, you got a purpose. And we're glad you're here, and we're glad you have a purpose with us. And we love you. You have a great day.
I hope your life will never be the same. I hope today it changes. I hope today it brings you joy. I'm your head misfit, Sean Murphy. Hold on, let me do this. That's well done, you. I'm your head misfit. I'll see y'all where?
At the next
Love y'all.
Love you too.
Have an amazing day. Thank you, everybody who showed up. Appreciate
Have a
you.
great day.
Thank
Hope to
you.
see you tomorrow.
Awesome day.
Same bad time, same bad channel. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.